So last meeting, I showed you a new platform for ASP.NET. It's called ASP.NET Core. No, it is the open source platform by Microsoft. No, for web development. It's a multi-platform web development, which means that unlike ASP.NET, it can be used for other purposes like other than web development. No. So other than web development. So pwede siyang pang REST API, and then there's a component which can be used for mobile development, no? And so on and so forth. And on top of that, it's an MVC platform, which means that it adapts models, views, and controllers, no? So we know that a view is the main part of the server which communicates with the browser. Okay, who's new? Sinong dumating? Okay. Hindi ko na notice, no? May bagong dumating. Moralde ba? Yeah, it's Moralde. No. So models, views, and controllers. Controllers is that part, no, of the platform which communicates with the browser, like Google Chrome. Once a request is posted is sent from the browser, the controller will determine, okay, what are the requirements of the request. If data is required, it will go to the request. It will send the request to the model, no, to generate the data and determine the corresponding view. Okay, the view is the HTML part. No? Do you follow? So unlike ASP.NET, we have no code behind. You know, we don't have any. We are purely HTML. We don't have server objects like text boxes. No, mga HTML meron. No, we don't have the grid view. No, we don't have even reports. No, we only have a project, a language called Blazor, which we can use to integrate C# codes. It's like integrating JavaScript tags or JavaScript codes within your HTML code. But this time, we are using the C# language. No? So the main tag used to introduce a C# code is the @ sign. An @ indicator means that what follows is a C# code. Okay? Any questions so far? Now let's review that. No? By the way, hanggang 3 o'clock rin tayo ngayon. No? Kasi meron akong appointment by 4 o'clock. Is that okay, everyone? Now, a very important characteristic of the MVC, even most MVC platforms, is it's code first. No? Unlike ASP.NET, it's data first. What do we mean by this? When you say data first, you create the database first, and then you write the code on top. In code first approach, we write the code first and generate the database from there, particularly in the model side. Okay? They follow? Let's try to create that again. No? Let's create a project called ebooks. No? It's actually a list of the same project which I created in ASP.NET. Okay? So we can just create a new project here. They follow? In creating a new project, we go to ASP.NET Core MVC. No? Ito. Okay? Now, the bad news about this is there's no VB equivalent. No? It's purely C#. No? Okay? ASP.NET Core MVC. I recommend that we use the latest. No? Although the difficulty with the latest version is there's few material. No? Ang pinakamaraming material sa web is version 2.2. But you can use the 2.2, do a little adjustment. No? And you can manage the new version, which is version 5. The long-term support is the 3.1 version, which is still being supported. Okay? I recommend to use the version 5 and Visual Studio 2019. We will create this, we proceed to next. Now we choose the right folder. We have a folder designated for that. Okay, we follow. And we assign a name. No? So we say ebooks. Okay, do you follow? Do you follow? And that this is the location. And then we just click next. Now, you will be asked to determine or to specify the target framework. The default is 3.1. We will use .NET 5.0. Why is that? Because Microsoft usually updates so fast, no? So the difference between, kasi 2020 yung ano eh, 3.1 and then version 5 is 2019 and version 5 is 2020. Okay? Okay? So kaya masyadong mabilis. So dito na tayo sa .NET 5. Although wala pa masyadong materials, but we'll use the materials for 2.2 and 3.1. Okay? 5.0 tayo, no? Okay. And then it's good you check this, no, so that you don't have to refresh your browser every time you recompile, no? It's the main, ano, it's the main function of this. Okay. So by the way, you group yourselves na, no? You will start, you should start creating your project next week. Okay? Kahit na ano lang, trads lang. Okay? So look at that. We have the controllers, we have the home controller, and we have only one model, and we have several views, no? With the home view, the index, okay? And then we have the privacy view, and we have it. .NET Core is layout based, no? We have okay, we have in shared view, no? We have the layout, no? Layout.cs HTML is the layout of the main page, and then there's a may mali. Let's do this again. May mali ako, no? Kulang tayo ng, there's something wrong. Kulang ng .NET ng initialization, no? Or rather authorization. Okay. Let me do that again. Ebooks. Will you leave this? You have to specify the authorization to be used. So in .NET Core, there's a component called identity framework. There's, no, identity framework is the component which is used to authorize, no, yung sa mga login, and then assign roles to users. Do you follow? Assignment of roles to users. It's called the identity framework. Let's go back to this. We'll call this ebooks. Kasi may nalimutan tayo, no? Ito, that we have to specify the authentication type. We have to use individual accounts, no? Enable runtime, no? Right away, you will know that there's something lacking. Okay. Because if you look at the Solutions Explorer, there are missing folders. Kasi kanina wala pong areas, no, and the identity. Okay, they follow. And one indicator is in the views. You have the shared component. You should have a layout HTML and login HTML, CSS HTML. The layout HTML contains the main menu. The login partial is the portion of the main menu which requires users to log in. They follow? Okay. Okay. So for example, if you run this, okay. So, no? This is how it runs initially. This is the web page that we have created. Meron siyang navigation bar sa baba, ito sa footer, and ito sa content page in the middle. So, wala dito yung ibang, ano, the menu here is register login because this is in login partial. Now, if you're not logged in, this will be the menu. If this is login, you will have a user management and a logout. Okay? Let's look at that. Ngayon, can we now log in? No. Because we don't have the database. Ito yung login partial. Oh. So it should have the menus, logout, and account management. The part which you manage your account. Okay. So the first thing to do is set up your database. To do that, you will have to go to appsettings.json. So you just have to set your IP address here of your database server. The name of your database. It should be a new database. Our new database is ebooks. And you leave everything as is. And then you save. Do you follow? Okay. Now, after that, I'll list down the steps, no? That's the first step. I list down the steps and put them in Dagger. Okay, after that, what you need to do is to do a migration, no? A migration is actually a process that will synchronize your models to your database. The first migration is the migration that creates the database, which in this example is called ebooks. Do you follow? How do you do migration? You view and then go to other windows and the package console, package manager console. Para siyang Django, no? Done in Visual Studio. So the first migration, we just run update database. Follow? Now what happens is the ebooks database is created. No, you can look at your Solutions Explorer, or you can look at your Visual Studio Management as SQL Server Management Studio, and find out that there's an ebooks database created. Tingnan mo yung databases, meron na siyang ebooks. And then there are tables, no? The tables for the users. So far, the users table is empty. Okay, because we don't have any user yet. Okay, to be able to create a user, you will need to run run the no, run the uh, application and then register a new user. We have done this before, okay? What's that? There it is. Huh? We register a new user. I say r.com and type password, no? Secure password, similar to Windows. And then we click confirm account here to confirm the account. Now it's like confirming by email. And now we can log in. Okay. Okay. So nandito na, no? This is the user management where you can use your email, you can change your password. Okay. You can set up your uh, two-factor authenticator. We'll discuss this later. Now, this is the part where it sends a code over email before you can log in or log out. No? Just like being sent a code by text. No? Two-factor authentication. Okay. And then if you log out, the menu here changes. Okay. So where do we look for the pages? No? The pages, the web pages are seen in the views folder. So the main menu is in layout. The login menu is in login partial. Okay. And then we have view start, which is which indicates where the first layout, the first index is, rather the first HTML is. No? Underscore layout. So itong underscore layout HTML. We have view and imports, the initial models that we are using. No? Do you follow? Okay. Now, you may ask, where are the login views? No? Actually, nandito sila sa identity. And then the pages are not seen. No? To be able to load the pages, it's good that you load the pages for, it's called the identity pages, so that you can customize them. No? Pwede mong i-customize yung mga login page, no? Yung edit registry, update registry, and so on and so forth. No? To do that, we will add a scaffolded item. Okay. We'll go to the solutions, no? Add new. We'll add a scaffolded, I'm sorry, add scaffolded item. Wala dito, no? Kanan dito sa baba. Ito, no? Dito ka sa project, and then add scaffolded item, new scaffolded item. Okay? We'll go to identity, no? We'll click identity, then add, and then we'll pick, okay, the pages that we'd like to add. Okay. So, mas maganda madagdag na natin, no? So we can customize. So usually we will add register. Okay. We add login, logout. Okay. We can add confirm email. Astrano. Confirm email, no? What else do we need to add? We need register confirmation. Okay. Email change, pwede na yan wala. No? Lockout, you may add yourself. Two-factor authentication, we can add this. Ilagay na lang natin itong access denied para labas na. Okay. What else? Change password, maybe, no? Or maybe okay na yan. Manage personal data. Okay. And then we set the DB context, no? We just pick whatever is available there. Then we click add. A scaffolded item is an item created from other templates, from a template, which means existing HTML, no? From the .NET library, .NET Frame Core library. It takes a while. No? It's uploading the pages. Now it's done. Now, if you look at the areas and identity, you now have the pages for, okay. If you look out login, so ito yung login page, okay. The register, yung mag-register na ano, it's here. You can customize this. The register confirmation, no? This check, and then access denied, no? And so on and so forth. You can reconfigure this, and so on and so forth. No? Okay. Now, let's do a CRUDs, no? Again. Kasi ang gagawin natin, create tayo ng CRUDs and then set authority to the CRUDs. Okay? Do you follow? Let me open let me open use for for the layout HTML. So login parcel i-edit ko. Open with notepad. Pwede ba dito? So meron akong what we call this bootstrap, no, for a main menu, which I do not memorize myself, so I have to copy that. So anyway, so ito, no, and then we'd like to add something to our main menu, particularly in the login parcel, an admin link. So ito na yun, no? Dito, I'll just copy this because I have explained this before. Ito, yung div bottom, no? Meron akong nilagay na authority. Okay? You just put it in the beginning. Then, yeah. Wala lang muna tayong ilagay na, it's okay, no? Nawala muna ang index. Dali lang, no? Okay. So, dito ko nilagay yung controller, okay? Nandito na, no? Delete run. Saan ba yung ating, ano? So, ito na. So, hindi lumabas yung, bakit hindi lumabas yung ating, ano? Because it's not logged in. So, we log in. So, kung sa login partial ka magdagdag, okay, dito lumabas, no? Okay, follow. So, wala pa ito. We don't have a page yet. We don't have a view yet. So, it will be lost like that. No? Take note that this only comes out when the user is logged in. Because I put it in login partial. So, if you want items to be seen by logged in users, if you want to require them, no, you can put them in login partial. Okay? So, that's the easy way. Okay? Now, let's create an ignition model not called authors. What we would do is under the models folder, we create a new class. Add new class. We just create a new class and we call it authors. The follow. So this now creates our authors class. Okay. In here, we declare our declaration for our database. This is where we declare our database. This is the a database with whose tables we want created. First, we will declare a primary key. Okay. Then there's a technique, no? Now, if there's a third, this tilde, no? This third braces, you can remove this is an error, no? You can just hover the mouse there and show potential fixes. Okay? It will give you an, ano. So you have to do using models data annotations. When you click that, ilalagay niya yan sa taas. No? Then it's the squigglies are gone. The red squigglies are gone. Okay. And then there's a shortcut. You say prop and then tab. Okay. So gagawin natin ito. We just call this ID. That's the primary key. That's our main ID. You can also say ID author. Do you follow? Okay. Now we can declare the last name. You say prop tab, no, and then string. Last name author. Now the name of the property here is useful because it will also be used as the field name. Now we can do decorations, no, to indicate what type of a field. Okay. For example, we can do a max length. Max length. I'll just add all the necessary, no? Idadagdag ko na lang para hindi tayo matatagalan. Basta, nasa square brackets ang, no? Okay. Max length of 50. Required, which means this is required. Now, we have an error message. We have a different type of a required, which has a required message, no? Error. You follow? And then the display name. No? Ang column type, natanggal yung column type. You can change this to 30 and then the particular column type will change to varchar. Kasi n varchar ang default. There's no particular arrangement required. No? Varchar 30. Now there's a red squiggly here. We'll just over it here. And then show potential fixes. We just click this. Nawala na. Ito naman, no? Just show potential fixes and then click the using. Maglalagay siya ng using dyan sa taas. The required also. Yung kulang dito. Kasi dalawa na yung required, okay? We'll just remove this. Sometimes the error is caused by a duplication, okay? So meron akong last name author, no? Okay. And then we'll just copy this. We'll have a first name. 30. This is no longer required. So the display name is, mali itong dito, no? This should be last name. This is first name, bar character T, and this is first name. Same way. Okay. So lang red squiggly, which means there's no error. And then we'll put nationality. There's a red squiggly, but it doesn't have to be fixed because it's just a duplication. And then the last part that we'll have is meron na ba tayong nationality? Meron na tayo. Last part we'll have is specialization. Okay? Do you follow? Okay. So walang errors. At least let's try to build. Find out if there are errors. May error na. We'll just click here. So what's wrong with this? Kulang daw ng close. Yeah, kulang ng close. Okay. So, kulang ng close. Close parenthesis. Kulang. So it's a good thing now. Okay. Okay. It's not supported. Hindi lang. Wala pa ng support kasi hindi pa tayo nag-ano. Do you follow? Okay. Do we have this in our database? No. So to update, we just build. Actually, we just open the package manager console. Wala tayong shortcut, no? Package manager console. And then we'll say add migration. Okay. We'll give it a name 0001 authors. Okay. Enter. It will build. If there's an error in your model, it will not build. Okay. So now, if you look at migrations, we now have 001 authors. Okay. And we have a temporary DB context. In this DB context, you will know what's going to be added. Okay, hindi follow. Ito, wala pa. Okay, and so on and so forth. No? Okay. Now, we can now, to reflect to the database, we say update dash database. Okay. Now, let's check our management studio. Okay. Let's look at ebooks, tables. We refresh. Ebooks pa tayo. Okay, wala pa tayong ano. Wala pa tayong let's do that again, no? The thing is, we still have to add something to our context DB. Okay. Anong idadagdag nito? Hindi siya mag-ano kasi walang table name. Okay. So we'll have to add this portion. Okay. DB set live ebooks. Okay. Ebooks model that authors. Idadagdag natin ito, which means that we are going to use the author's name to create the table. Kasi ito dito kukunin yung table ano. So we'll just say diyan kukunin yung table name. We'll just say update database. Hindi mo yan lalagyan, i-ano niya eh. Idadagdag niya yan. Let's look at if we do have it here. Okay. Kung wala, we add migrations, no? Which means we need to add migrations. Okay. Add migration 00002 authors. And then, yan, nandun na. Nag-create na. Kanina, wala ito no? Because we lack, we lack an entry in our TV context. The next time around, it will be easier, no? Let's find out if you have it. Oh, nandito na ang authors. Okay? Do you follow? Huh? You now have authors. Problema, wala pa yung laman yung authors. Okay? So what will we do if we are going to create a CRUDs? Tayaw. Entry. Villa Carlos, wala pa nakapasok. Pinapasok ko na. Participants. Check ko na yung attendance niya kanina. Okay, we'll ask him to come again. Kasi umalis siya eh. Okay, I'm sorry, no? Umulan nga, pero may attendance still fine. Okay? Now, let's create a CRUDs, no? Pinaka-importante yung CRUDs. Now, it's much easier here, although we don't have a .NET controls, no? Okay? We have to create a controller first, no? We can right-click on, and then we create, we add controller. We choose an MVC controller with views using entity framework. Okay, with views, which means we have list, add, edit, create, no? Use, no? We do this, and then the model class is for the application ebooks authors, no? Authors, this one, no? Authors for the ebooks. The context class is only one choice, no? The layout page, we choose the layout page from views, shared, and then the layout CSHTML, no? Okay, so dun yun yung main layout where there's a render page section. Okay, the name is the author's control. Okay, so let's look at the author's controller. The author's controller, no? So ito, meron siyang index, and then which returns the main page, and then meron siyang details, meron siyang create, meron dalawang create for a get, and then create for a create for the post, no? So meron dalawang create, no? There's a create for the get and there's a create for a post. What is this? Because there are two types of requests when you make a web page, no? When the client requests for a page, it issues a get request, no? So the get request will be reply, the server will reply to the get request by sending uh, the the web page, the HTML, no, to the browser. Now, when there's a submit button inside that HTML and the submit button is clicked, okay, it will go back to the same web page, no? And this time, instead of using a get, it will issue a post request, no? So, dalawang klase. Get when the user, the client requests for a web page. Post when the client submit button is clicked, which means a post request is requested so that the data on the server is updated. Do you follow? So, dalawa talaga yan. Pag meron kang create, meron kang get, and then you will have an HTTP post, no? Usually in a HTTP post, you validate the anti-forgery token to avoid malicious attempts at hacking your website. Okay, do you follow? Okay, so now what do we have? We have everything now. We now have an author's page. Let me run that. It's here, no? Meron na tayong author's page. Authors, the name of the view and the model index. Author ba? Author. Name of the controller index. Let's find out why we don't have this. No? Meron tayong error. We have errors. Kasi if you look at we have the index already. Okay, so author's index. And if you look at the views, we have the author's views. No? You have index. Okay. Do you follow? Now, to make a long story short, let's edit our partial, no? Our plugin partial and drop the administration to author's index. Ito na, author's index. No? Baka nalagyan ko na ng login. No, I didn't. May authorize ba doon sa index? Href is author's index. Let's log in. Bakit nawala? Bakit nawala ang aking login? No? Firewall daw. Problema dito sa kabila, tumatakbo. Nag-stop yung aking IIS server, no? Let me just close this and reopen the, no? Reopen the project. No? Bakit hindi nag-firewall error? This is the first time I've encountered this. Usually, you just have to rebuild the solution. Just log in. Administration and author management. So, nandyan na. Do you follow? Let's create a new author. Okay. So, meron na, no? You can now have the details. Do you follow? I just have to restart. restart mo, no? You can edit, okay? And you can delete, no? Let's not remove the. So fortunately, it's very easy to create CRUDs here, no? Now, the question is, how do I limit this to log in? Because even if you're logged out, and then you say authors / index, so papasok pa rin siya kahit naka-log out, although it's not in the menu, okay? So one way to do that is to go back to your controller. For example, open the authors controller. Okay. Now, if you would like to, you decorate your index, shall we say, you put this as authorize. This will require authorization, no? And then you just show potential fixes, and then using. Okay. So if you put this before index, this will require the view to be authorized first, which means it will send the user back to log in. Okay. You follow? Any questions so far? I-decorate mo lang yan. Sorry na. Where's my ano? Dito siya. So, if you attempt without logging in, you say authors / index. Nag-error na naman. Sorry, no? I think I've done. It will return you to login. May error yung aking, do something, I have to close the solution, no? Then open it again. Anyway, will be, how many minutes do we have? 3 minutes, no? Let's just let me run this one more time, no? And then, what will happen if you will go to index and edit? Let's run this. We have 2 more minutes, no? Nandito. What if you will go to authors? Yes, index. I hope it's now. It will go back to login. Now, another problem is, what if he goes back to authors / edit +1. So wala pang edit, no? So anyway, we're running out of time. We'll have a short session afterwards, no? So I'll be right back, okay? To save the, no? I log out for the moment. I'll be right back.